The Orlando Magic, it looks like their timeline, their rebuild is accelerated. Thanks to, honestly, their front office. I believe it's Jeff Weltman and John Hammond. They made some good moves, drafted some studs, players that we were sleeping on. And with this team as currently constructed, there's a lot of promise. And obviously, they're not top in the East. They're not a top team in the NBA right now. But when you look at the potential and look how this team is working right now, they can be competing as soon as next year. I mean, if you look at the team right now, they're 13th in the East at 24-35. Nothing to boast about. But they're only 4 games away from making the play-in. And this speaks a lot about this team because when we talk about the start of the season, they were 5-20. And that was considered the worst team in the NBA. And in their last 34, they've been 19-15 and have been picking it up. If we talk about their 2 main guys, in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, it wasn't expected that they would pick those guys going into the draft. Like, for example, Paolo, for the longest time, it was Jabari Smith Jr. at number 1. And then right on draft day, then we heard that the Magic were most likely going to pick Paolo. And even with Franz Wagner, myself included, I was surprised by that pick. Honestly, I was not that impressed from what I saw in college from him. Or not impressed, I just didn't know what to expect in his transition going into the NBA. And when he was picked by the Orlando Magic, I was like, oh, we'll see what happens. But he's definitely involved into something that I didn't expect. He has a higher ceiling than I thought. But those 2 guys leading them, I mean, they're bigs, like Paolo's 6'10", 250, and then Franz Wagner is 6'9", but they have elite guard skills. Like, it is fun to watch that duo. They're going to be a unique, great duo in years to come. I said that they went 5-20 to begin the season, but adding Markelle Fultz, who honestly comeback player of the year, shout out to Markelle Fultz. I've been loving what I'm seeing. They've been playing so much better with him as the orchestrator, the offensive initiator. They're 19-19 with him, so he's definitely been piecing this team together. But let's start with Paolo. He's been the rookie of the month in the East the last 2 months. He's averaging 19.9 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. A lot of times when he's breaking a record, you'll see that he's the first teenager or first rookie since LeBron. It's always good to be mentioned with LeBron, who's arguably the GOAT. But when we talk about his game, I mean, he's honestly probably the most polished rookie we've seen, right out the gate. I mean, he has it on all 3 levels. He can finish at the rim. He's strong. He has that mid-post, mid-range area. He can pull up, and then on the 3, catch and shoot. But also, he's a point guard. He's a point guard in a 6'10" body. So he can come off the screen. He can pull up for 3. He can step back, sidestep. I mean, there's not really a weakness in terms of the arsenal of shots he can take. I mean, a weakness for him is just his efficiency because he's only shooting 42% from the field, 28% from 3. So obviously it's not that good, but just the arsenal of shots. These are shots he looks comfortable taking. It's just, he's just a rookie. So I would expect those numbers to go up because these are the type of shots he's going to continue to keep making as he gets more comfortable. And just like what I feel goes under the radar, I actually don't know if it really is under the radar, but he is a very good playmaker at 6'10". Like, I was watching the film, I went on Twitter, I saw NBA University, shout out to them. They pulled up a little compilation of his passes. Like, I'll put them in here, but it's high level reads, like passing in the pick and roll as the ball handler, passing in traffic, in midair, lob passes. He has it all in terms of that. I mean, good playmaker, can score the ball, and he's also good at getting to the line. Something with rookies, whether they don't have the respect yet or they just don't know how to get to the line, but getting to the line is a skill. And he leads all rookies in free throws made and free throws attempted, and he's top 15 in the whole league. So he's doing a good job of getting to the line. Got to get there if you're a high-level scorer, Obviously, not the most explosive athlete, but he's still a good athlete, don't get me wrong. So, he's still 6'10". He's not going to wow you with Giannis Antetokounmpo athleticism or LeBron James athleticism, but he's quick enough to get by and use his size and strength to finish through people or get to his spot. Another thing he likes to do is go into his triple threat. He likes using the jab in the mid post, rocker step. He has that on pat. And then when we go to Franz Wagner, like I said, 6'9", he can shoot the ball. All I thought he was going to be going into the league was just like a spot up shooter, stretch 4, will give you some solid defense. Boy, was I wrong. If you just talk about his stats, he's averaging 18.9 points, 3.9 rebounds and 3.5 assists on good efficiency, 48% from the field, 36.6% from three, and 83% from the free throw line. And when you reflect on the 2021 draft, right now Franz Wagner is performing the best out of all of those guys. He's playing better than Scotty Barnes. Kate Cunningham's been out. He's been better than his counterpart, Jalen Suggs. He's been looking like the best player in his sophomore class. So it's good to see. And pairing him with Paolo, these guys have a similar skill set in terms of their scoring, their playmaking. Like Franz Wagner, like I said, thought he was only going to be a spot-up shooter. He has shot creation ability. Gets to a spot, likes using the step back too as well. Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero also, they're really good in the pick and roll, not as just the screener, but also as the ball handler too. So just a dynamic duo there. You see the potential oozing out of them. It's exciting to see these two. And then when we talk about Markelle Fultz, like I said, we got to celebrate Markelle Fultz. I mean, is he going under the radar still? I'm not sure. I feel like people should really know what he's been doing because, it's not the flashiest thing. It's not like he's averaging 20 points. He's averaging 13 points and 5.6 assists and 4 rebounds on pretty solid efficiency. But just, best comeback story, and is having his best year since entering the league. Obviously, we know the story with his broken jump shot. It's not the smoothest jump shot, but it looks better. He's more of a threat. He's been finding, his niche on when it comes to scoring in the mid-range or finishing at the hoop. He will shoot a three here and there. He's like 30% from three, but that's only on 1.3 attempts per game. But he's willing to shoot it. When you reflect Markelle Fultz and Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz is better than Ben Simmons right now. That's something that we weren't expecting to ever say. I like what Markelle Fultz has been doing, just getting them in their spots. He's that pure playmaker. 6'3", like a big guard. He's athletic. It doesn't really seem like he's 6'3" because he has length and he looks taller, to be honest, when I watch. But anyways, he has that unorthodox way of moving. He can get to his spots. He can get into tight spaces, and then he still has that athleticism we fell in love with when in high school and in college. He dunked on Precious Achiuwa that other night. So Markelle Fultz been loving what I'm seeing from him, and just the potential is still there for him to be something better. Could it be an all-star in the future? I don't know, but is it far-fetched to see that happen? Not really, because he still has athleticism. He's a very good two-way player. He's been under the radar defensively. He has that playmaking ability. Stats, 5.6 assists. I mean, it's not like, he's averaging 10 assists. No, it's not like that, but still, high-level reads, high-level point guard. He arguably had his best game of the season on February 13th. Hit 18 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and 0 turnovers on 53% from the field. And then when we talk about Wendell Carter, another guy who's been under the radar. I mean, this team in general is underrated, but Wendell Carter, another guy who's been solid for this team, averaging 15 points and 8.5 rebounds. In terms of his shooting percentages, he's been very efficient. From 0 to 3 feet, 80% from the field. 3 to 10 feet, 49% from the field. 10 to 16 feet, 47.8%. 16 to 3-point range, it's 36.7%, and from 3-point, 37%. So with Wendell Carter, he gives you the best of both worlds offensively. He can finish down low. He's big. But also, he can shoot the ball and stretch the floor out. Obviously, you got Bobo, who, he had a very hot start. He was looking like he was going to be the front runner for most improved player, but he's kind of slowed down. His minutes have been kind of not diminished, but it's been lessened. But he's still playing, but he's having a really breakout year. So this is a guy that, we see it from him. It's good to see Bobo do what he's doing, seeing him get an opportunity. As time goes on, we'll see if he's part of the future plans for Orlando. But while he's here, it's been fun watching him. Mo Wagner too, another revelation. I didn't expect to see much from him, in the league after a while, because it didn't look like teams were picking him up or he was going to be used a lot. But with the Magic, he's been good. 11 points, 4.7 rebounds. He will give you about a 3 a night. Cole Anthony, not the most efficient player, but still he's been a good sixth man for this team. He's ultra confident. He has the athleticism. He'll take some tough shots, but he's a professional bucket getter. And then Jalen Suggs. Is he that fifth pick crazy combo guard we were expecting him to be? Not yet, at least, but he's still a productive player, and he's kind of found his niche as a defensive player. I saw this on Twitter. Among guards, he's 94th percentile in steal percentage and 90th percentile in block percentage, and he's also top 10 in the league in defensive Raptor as a 21-year-old guard. Raptor, I've heard the stat I do not know what 100% what it means, but I'll just give you the actual definition. Raptor stands for robust algorithm using player tracking and on-off ratings, and measures the number of points a player contributes to team offense and team defense per 100 possessions relative to a league average player. I just read that verbatim. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure what Raptor actually means, but said he's ranked high in terms of that, so that must be a good thing, right? So then another guy that they traded for, Gary Harris. He was part of that Aaron Gordon trade, one of the best three-point shooters in the league. And honestly, when you talk about percentage-wise, he is. In terms of players who are attempting at least 3-pointers per game, he's leading the league in percentage at 46% from three. He's been a knockdown shooter and gives you good 3 and D. He's like a perfect two-guard for this team. Also, another guy who just recently joined them past month or so, Jonathan Isaac. This is a guy that we had not seen him play for the last 2 years because of that ACL injury. He's not playing the potential minutes he'll play in the future, but Jonathan Isaac is still that guy oozing with potential, all NBA defensive potential, can give you good shooting too as well, has the potential of being able to guard 1 through 5. So don't sleep on Jonathan Isaac either as he continues to as they acclimate him more into the team. It's crazy to see how much faster and accelerated his timeline is, especially when we talk about the start of their rebuild. They gave up, they traded away Vucevic to the Bulls, and look what that turned into. Wendell Carter, who, arguably, he's at the same level as Vucevic right now. And then they got some picks out of it. They got Franz Wagner, and they have an incoming pick coming this year. That's only top 4 protected. Chicago still trying to compete, apparently, and it looks like that pick's going to convey for the Magic. Could they sneak into the play-in and maybe even the playoffs? There's definitely a possibility for that. But also, there's a possibility that they end up just being a lottery team, which is nothing wrong with that. But I'll tell you right now, at least by next year, they're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be scary. You're going to see Paolo make a step, Franz Wagner make a step. With how good Paolo has been, he still has more room to grow as a rookie. We're so excited for him. He's going to be in my eyes, the undisputed rookie of the year. But there's still room to grow from him. And that's scary. That he can continue to get better. Franz Wagner as well. Then Markelle Fultz still has potential to be better than what he is, even though he's been very productive for this team. So we'll see where this Magic team goes, but I'm excited to see the future of the Orlando Magic. That's all I have for you guys in this video. If you guys enjoy, hit that like, subscribe, comment what you guys think about the Orlando Magic. Will they go into the playoffs this year? Will they be a lottery team? How soon will they be contenders in the NBA? Let me know down below. But like I always say in my videos, my first name is Emilio, but middle name is Lawrence, and I like hoops. If you like hoops too, subscribe to it too. Until next time, peace.